righty, here we are. Are we here? Are we here? Yeah, at the Crystal Clearpoint Studios with Watch Out, we're talking, or whatever it is we call ourselves these days. I got Dr. Matthew Pierce with me. I just love him. I got Luann Morris.
I love you
She's
too.
my heart and soul when I don't have one because I'm just a shell of a person for the day. And here I am, Deborah Colleen Rose, and welcome to the new year.
Welcome.
Yes, it is.
So here's how we're starting the new year. I'm having a spiritual crisis. Dr. Pierce is having a huge building of his businesses. Luann Morris's business got hacked by the Chinese with Herbal Loose. So she's taking this opportunity to rebrand her business and reformat herself. And so what we're going to talk about today is more for 24. And the other side of that coin, I decided I didn't tell you about when I was texting this morning is also, what are we going to say no more to in 24? So go ahead. What do y'all got to say on the subject?
Well, I normally don't do resolutions. I mean, I don't, take and speak out to the universe. Well, I'm going to put this back into place, or I'm going to get back to the gym, or what have you. I mean, I take inventory of what happened the last year, and then just kind of say, okay, these are the things I need to make some course corrections on. So,
Reflection.
that's
Reflect.
how I approach 2024.
I agree. What can I do better this year?
Yeah.
Well, I wrote an email to my spiritual teacher and mentor last night, and I went, wow. Because I don't feel like I'm having a crisis. I don't feel like there's anything wrong, but there is definitely a lot of emotional and spiritual roller coastering going on for me internally. And I said, I don't dream about traveling to something. I just think about leaving where I am.
Mm.
And I went, oh, I don't know how I feel about that statement, but it's true. It's not like I say, oh, I need to go on a cruise or I need to go to Ireland. I would like to do those things. But when I think about doing something different, it's just about leaving my house, leaving where I am. I don't care where I'm going. I don't have a goal in mind. I just don't want to stay put, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what.
That's one of the things that's changed for me in 2024 is that, with the COVID happening, and I kind of got comfortable just staying in my house and not going out and not doing things. And I'm finding, like, in 2024, I'm kind of being almost forced to get out, to, meet people, to, have interactions that aren't like, where I'm at. So, I
Well,
mean, do you
yeah,
feel
I
that?
get that. Yeah. Well, Luann loves to go out. She's always going, let's go out. Let's go out. And I'm like, not today.
Yes, she wants to go out, but she doesn't want to go out alone.
Ah,
No, I
well,
don't
I
want to
mean,
get dressed. No, it's not even that. I just don't want to have to get dressed. I kind of get these people at Walmart in their pajamas, except I don't wear pajamas. So even
hmm.
putting on pajamas is getting dressed for me.
Yeah, it's bad when you are so comfortable in your house dress that you think, oh, I'm fine. I can go like this.
Okay, you're not getting it. I don't wear clothes.
Close.
Yes, no, I get it, but I do. So,
I don't wear clothes, but I don't know. Luann needs to get out more because she is a social butterfly. And I
right.
actually I actually thrived in COVID. I was annoying in COVID because I was in my element. And other than the fact it screwed with my money, I loved COVID. I really did, you know. So
Well, I think that, I mean, one of the things that came out of COVID for me, and the whole feeling of, like, I want to be alone. I mean, I finally got the gumption to, finish up my doctoral work. And so it kind of gave me the opportunity, like, to really focus on some things that I wanted to accomplish in my life. In 2024, like, just within, this month, I've seen, like, oh, I actually learned that, or I actually, researched that. So now I can actually apply it. in 2024. So I think that 2024 for me is going to be about applying stuff, applying, the skills and, the ideas and things of that nature that I gained in 2023. So, I mean, what
That
do you
makes
feel?
sense.
What do you,
Luann, he's talking to you. I can tell by the way he's
I think
looking at the
anybody,
camera.
what are you experiencing 2024? Are you bringing any of 2023 into 2024, or are you trying to
No,
avoid it at all?
I think that everything happens for a reason. So when my whole Facebook because I had my Facebooks attached to each other. And so when they were hacked, I thought, well, this is what I've been thinking about is rebranding anyway. I've really been considering it. And so now here it is. Guess what? I need to do the whole rebrand because for Herbal Lou, someone actually took over the page, changed the name of the page. It's actually in Vietnam now. And so it needs to totally change everything.
And I'm excited about that for her because I like brainstorming. I think probably one of the best career jobs I had everything I've done in my life, I just fell into literally. I was like a three-legged horse just falling in a hole everywhere I went. And I fell in through a drunken happy hour connection one day into being hired into a think tank with Wang and Honeywell Computers on how to take voicemail out of the corporate environment and present it as a public use. So the voicemail that everyone lives with and knows and understands, I was a part of how to make that public. I love brainstorming. I love coming up with ideas. And even if it's not something I want to do personally, I love this. So I've been thinking all week long, what can Luann do? What can her brain look like? What can we name it? And I will just text her like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I love doing that. I really do love doing that. And I hate the day-to-day grind though of running a business, doing the books, calling people back, writing contracts.
Well, I
Well,
mean,
I even went so far as I woke up in the middle of the night and I was thinking about words that go with my business. How can I arrange these to mean something? And I just wrote down all kinds of things. Of course, half of them were nonsense. Of course, it was 3 a.m.
They were not, they were good ideas. They were all like butterflies or bees landing on pollen pods. They're all good ideas, but they didn't capture the true essence. Of course, I love the name I came up with. Did she tell you the name I came up with?
no.
You may tell him.
Yes.
Ancient Remedies. I love that.
Now
I'm
there
really
is
attached to it.
unfortunately, there is a company out there called Ancient Remedies Co. or Company.
Okay.
So, I kind of thought ancient herbs, modern remedies.
Okay. I mean, it's a little bit long. Just from a standpoint of advertising, it's a little long.
But I
so
think ancient herbs is not taken.
I like that ancient herbs. Okay. And add a little bit more to that. I mean, I really like the ancient herbs because for me, they've always been around. And so they're always going to help. And by the way, the items that you said for me to use, okay, I started using them, and I can tell you what, are making a huge difference, a huge difference. I mean, I told my doctors that, hey, listen, I have a little ulcer that I'm trying to get healed. And you had told me like try this, this, and this. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Okay. Went to the doctor and the doctor's like, okay, well, yeah, we're really gonna have to watch this because it's looking pretty bad. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what I wanted to hear. And so when Luann, when you and I had the conversation, I was like, right now I'm willing to try anything. I'm willing to try anything. So I took everything the doctor told me that was like not working, okay, and applied your knowledge. Like for example, and this is some your knowledge and some other people's knowledge. But my doctor says, I'm sorry, I can't really do anything because the circulation in your foot isn't where it should be. Okay. And so that's what we have to do, is we have to get that, get that figured out. And so I've started applying what you call it, the
Araya powder?
yes, well, I'm applying that to the wound, okay? But I'm actually using castor oil and the cayenne pepper, and that has been increasing the circulation to my foot,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And so I actually went back to the doctor. The doctor looked at the wound and was like, this is like half the size of, what it was. And it was like only like a week and a half. And he's like, what are you doing?
No,
And I
wow.
was like, I told him, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I said, I'm doing herbal remedies to get this healed. And I was like, you were just saying, like, slather the triple antibiotic ointment on it and let's hope for the best. And so yeah, I just started doing the natural remedies, and it's working. I mean, it's working. So I really, really,
Wow.
really like the your ancient herbs and that field, because I think that we can really heal our bodies with that, and I think that that's so worthwhile. And your knowledge, I'll tell you what, I'll brag on you forever.
Well, that's what I like to see results. And it just, um, I remember the first time I recommended the Karaya powder was for a friend, and he had a decubitus, which,
Mhm.
I think that actually resulted in the death of Chris Reeves.
Yes.
What is the decubitus? I don't know what that
It's
is.
a sore on your backside, on
Okay, bed
actually
sore.
probably your tailbone area,
Got it.
because you spend so much time in bed.
Okay.
So it healed his, she followed my directions and it healed. So that's not what killed him. His cancer killed him. So it's always sad when something kills someone that is inconsequential and shouldn't
Right.
have.
Right, right.
So the other thing that you might consider, cayenne pepper always opens up the blood vessels.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure what the castor oil is. Maybe it's the delivery. It helps the
Yeah.
delivery of but the other thing that can help you systemically is hawthorn berry.
Ooh, okay.
And it's something you take daily. I take it daily, and it helps reduce my blood pressure because it opens up my blood vessels.
Okay. Well,
And
we
if it
need
can
to have a
open up,
conversation about that.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
it'll open up your blood vessels, then it can certainly help with the circulation, along with the cayenne pepper and the castor oil.
well, let me tell you one more thing, and then I'll get off of the soapbox. I I've been reading and about the about castor oil, because it takes and it penetrates very deep, and anywhere that it goes, it seeks out like abnormal like form or like abnormal cells or whatever else like that, and helps to eliminate them. Okay. So it's very good for, for like small lesions, and people use it on their stomach to help with, their gastrointestinal areas. I started using it on my neck. I take and like massage it on my neck at night before I go to bed, because I have a parathyroid condition. And it's not huge. It's not, I mean, it's just like, it's not requiring surgery or anything at the moment. But my parathyroid levels, as I've been testing them, have been going up. And so was like, okay, well, hey, what's it going to hurt taking a little castor oil and rubbing it on your neck and seeing what happens? I'm tested for it all the time. So, if I see a difference, and it's no longer going up, then I'll know that something is happening. Well, I went to the doctor. The doctor tested my parathyroid hormone, and guess what?
Wow. That's
Uh,
great.
in other
And
words,
she's like, "What are you doing? What are you taking?" And I'm just like, "I'm rubbing castor oil on my neck at night," and she's like, "Yeah, I
Nah.
don't think that's it." I'm like,
It
but that's
is.
the
"I
only
didn't
thing I'm
change
doing
anything."
differently.
Castor oil will help you grow hair too, if you rub it
Yeah,
on your scalp.
yeah.
So, and all that stuff. Castor oil is a miracle drug. It really is.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
I
so
think
we want more health this year, is what I'm
Yes.
hearing.
Yes.
Yes.
More better health, more health.
Yes.
None of that's proper English, but we know what we mean by that.
Mo better.
We want more better health, more
More
better
better health.
health.
We want to think about more of what can help us naturally.
Yeah.
My big thing that, because I was thinking about this a lot this morning, I want more freedom. I want more freedom, freedom to just be myself and not worry about who's going to take it wrong or who's going to be offended or, who's. So what I'm wanting by saying that is that I'm not wanting to be mean to people. I'm just wanting them to look into who I am and see what I'm saying and the true meaning behind it. So I want more freedom and I want to be seen better by other people. Instead of, here's what I finally realized. What happens when you open yourself up and you let yourself get a little more vulnerable is that you start getting really emotional and it's really hard to stay in your bubble because, most of the things that people have criticized me for years has bounced off of me. It's not bouncing so much anymore. And it's not that it hurts my feelings. It's just, it makes me feel lonely because I understand that people don't get me. Even more so than I ever have in my whole life. I mean, I've always known I was odd and people didn't get me, blah, blah, blah. That was kind of my quirk and that made me special and blah, 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 blah. But now I don't want to be quirky and I don't want to be special. I just want people to say, hey, I get her. And I like her or I don't like her or she's interesting or she's boring or whatever it is. But to see me for who I am and not who they label me for or who they see me through their filters because they're so limited with their filtering system. Does that make sense?
Yes, because, I don't see you as controlling, but other people have in the past. And I'm
Okay,
like,
wait a minute, stop right there. I have to say this. God bless America. If I was half as controlling as I get accused of being, most of you bitches would not be here. You know
well,
what? I would get a lot more of what I want in life, and you would not be saying that I'm controlling because you wouldn't have the ability, the authority, or the power to say that. That's what controlling people do. Obviously, I'm not very good at controlling.
if you're feeling like, if I was feeling like you were controlling me, I would say, Deborah, you are being insistent that I do something I don't want to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I hear that sometimes. I do.
And
Sometimes
so
I feel that.
if especially someone you say is a friend.
Exactly. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't need to ask for more of anything if I was controlling because I'd be able to control the world around me and get everything I wanted. Wow.
Well,
If I only had that
I
much
think
power.
people have a tendency to misconstrue controlling to actually them being challenged.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
Because
I
if
believe that.
someone feels that you're controlling, they might just be hitting a nerve with you on something that you need to change, but you're not willing to admit that that stimulus is coming from someone who can actually give you advice on how to make that change.
Well, and the other thing is,
I had
if
to
you're
bite,
not
wait a minute, I had to
willing,
bite my tongue just a second because I almost said something. Okay, go ahead, Luann.
if you're asking for advice,
Yeah.
if you're asking, and I asked Deborah a lot for advice. And if I wasn't willing to listen to what she had to say and say, yeah, I can't do that, or yeah, you're right. I mean, so one time somebody told me, look, I would be glad to listen to you, but you say the same thing all the time and you're not doing anything to change it.
Hmm.
And I thought, she's right. I'm not doing anything to change it. I'm just bitching about it.
Yeah.
So what is it you want? Are you asking for advice, or or is this just a bitch session? And that's what you have to tell the other person. I need
Yeah.
your advice, and if it's just a bitch session, you say I need to vent.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. My other more is I'm not going to use the word authentic, vulnerable, or anything else. Mine is more exposed. That's the only way to describe it. I'm going to be more exposed. I do I want to go there? So let me just say simply, doing the audio biography of my life with Luann has made me realize that I have used comedy and sarcasm to cover up how, not to cover up, but not have to expose how I really feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I'm not aware how I feel, I just don't expose it. And it's one thing to write about it. I can be very funny, very witty, very charming, very descriptive writing. I have a way with words writing, but when you're talking, things flow differently. And doing the audio biography has put my stories into a whole new perspective for me. And I'm not grieving, I'm not sad, but I am emotional. You can be emotional without it being negative. You can be emotional without it being a positive emotion or a negative emotion. It's just an emotion. It's like if you burn your finger, it hurts. And you either jerk your finger away and you doctor it, or if you don't feel that, it's going to stay in the fire and you're going to lose that finger. And that's kind of what I feel like is going on with my audio biography. I mean, taking the emotions, I'm putting them out, I'm dusting them off, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I felt. Okay, we're moving on, you know, moving on to the next one. And I don't know what purpose that serves, but it's serving something. I just don't know what it is yet. So more exposed is
I can agree with that sentiment. Because I mean, for the longest time, I wouldn't open myself up to that exposure because I was, it's the fraud mentality or the mentality of, what do they call it? I'm at a loss for words. Imposter syndrome. Okay. And so like this year, I have a real problem with people calling me doctor sometimes. Is because it almost comes across as like, are you mocking me? You know, but there are some people that are like very genuine. They want to start calling me doctor, and I have to give them the grace to do it. And so, being
I
able
think
to,
he's talking to me.
well, you and there's other people that are, that are like very proud of me. Let's put that I was able to, accomplish this. Okay. But I also have people that will not call me doctor because they're like, yeah, I don't see it. So, I just have to be willing to be out there and to be authentic with who I am. I have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of experience, not only in, business, but also in spirituality and, and counseling and, etc. So I have to allow myself to, well, kind of step into those talents this year. And that's kind of what I've been doing, I'm not apologizing for who I am anymore.
I am very proud of you, but I'm going to be blunt. I also like to call you doctor because I think it makes me look better because it makes people know I'm hanging out with good quality company.
Well,
Well,
okay, well,
so
then you
many
can have it.
people, so many people, unless you're an MD,
Yeah.
they're like, I'm not calling you doctor.
Why?
But I came from a college where people were doctor this and doctor that because they had PhDs. So it doesn't seem as odd to me as it would to some just regular people.
Why do they have the right to even say that though? He has a degree. It has letters behind it. Why would I or anyone else have the right to say, well, I'm not going to call you a doctor because that doesn't qualify you a doctor, in my opinion? Who made me the authority on that? How dare people say
Nobody.
that? How dare they say that?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm not going to do more of, but I feel the inclination, and that's smack people in the face. I really want to do more of that lately. Just,
See,
you know?
I'm gonna make you a t-shirt that says, "Don't make me pull out the fivefold blessing."
Yeah, exactly. My favorite thing is that I'm going to slap all four of your cheeks individually. I mean,
You
some
want some
people
more of
just
that
need,
fivefold blessing? Okay.
yeah, they need a smack up beside the head. And it's just oh my God, and you know what else? I think maybe I'm going through menopause. I don't know. I don't have any of the other symptoms, but everything makes me emotional lately. But I think it has to do with being more in touch with myself. I'm watching these shows about documentaries and then also fictional things like about gay community and the things that have happened from the 50s to now and the Black community and different cults and stuff. And I just, after I watched these shows, like I watched this one series called Fellow Travelers. It was a
Mhm.
fictional story. Did you watch it?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
did.
God. I just cried like a baby. That show, and I'm gonna tell you, it was kind of dirty at times. There was some dirty sex in there, and but I don't enjoy sex scenes in movies and shows because Scott laughs at me. My immediate thought when I start seeing a sex scene is, how long has it been since they had a shower? Who's sleeping on the wet spot? Did they get up and clean themselves? Oh my God, that's messy. And did they just go to the office without a shower? They gonna stink. What are they thinking? I cannot enjoy the sex scene because I am so obsessed with smells and germs and fluids. I can't think about anything. I know, I'm warped. I know. Scott just pats me on my little head and goes, "Oh, my baby's sick." But okay, but go back. I digressed. I'm sorry. Having it put in chronological order in a personal format of here are two people in a relationship and what they had to deal with, or what they chose to deal with, because one made a choice to be in the closet, one chose not to be in the
Mhm.
closet. They both suffered because of their choices. And all we had here at the end were two people that loved each other that could not be together. It was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking for them, for the people that were with them, for their families. There was no happy ending anywhere in this story. It just killed me. It just absolutely killed me. And it just, why don't we talk about that?
Mm.
Oh, people don't want to know that.
Why don't we talk about that? And why don't we hold each other's hand? Why don't we uplift each other? Why don't we give people a kick in the ass when they need it to do better? You know, why?
Because
Maybe we should not
many,
be talking
many,
more. Maybe we should talk about why.
many people are not willing to embrace that you are different.
Yeah.
And regardless of the fact that you're different, I still love you. They will not embrace that.
Well, why do we even have to say it that way? Can't we just be, that's who you are? Why do we even have to define it as being different? How do we know that we're not the one that's different?
Well,
Mhm.
my vocabulary is still defining it. My brain, however, says it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You know, you're
Well,
a PI, you're a great person. I enjoy you as a friend. Say I enjoy Matthew because he has such a awesome mind and the way he thinks and that he has common sense. That's kind of a requirement for me. If somebody
sure.
doesn't have common sense, I kind of go, yeah, whatever you say. But he's able to have an intelligent conversation and add to the conversation. That's who he is.
I like to think Matthew's me with a penis.
Mhm.
Not that
I,
I've ever wanted one. I've never wanted one of my own, but if I had one, that would be Matthew.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
You think maybe?
Oh, good.
Well, I want it to be a compliment, but I can't guarantee you that it is, okay?
Okay, then I'll just take it. Yeah.
from
Okay.
her perspective, it is.
Okay.
Yes,
So I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you.
yes.
I
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
taking it
that.
that way.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, there are not many men who will sit and have an intelligent conversation with you
No.
or ask questions about what you're talking about.
That's very
I
true.
finally had somebody that I had a conversation with say, okay, so what does that mean? Oh, well, that means it's just everywhere, because I was not aware that I was using something he didn't understand.
I always ask people what they mean if I don't understand it, because otherwise you now have made a decision by not asking questions to exclude yourself from the situation, the
Mhm.
And if you
conversation.
don't ask questions, I presume you know what I'm talking about.
Of course. It's just like I didn't know what you were talking about a while ago with that wound. I assumed it was a bed sore, but what if you weren't? What if
Yeah,
they had a third
Exactly.
eye
exactly.
growing out of their leg, or something,
Right.
So I'm
And
going to
you
ask.
should ask. Otherwise, I don't know I'm talking over your head, right?
Yeah, she does. She uses a lot of those big medical words. I'm like, just call it a skin sore. Oh, dang, why do you have to do that?
Because of my nursing training, nursing
Yeah.
Yeah,
school.
I get it. It's kind of cute. I actually think it's cute. I really do.
Well,
And
but I love that you give us the ability to, I mean, by using those terms. I mean, because I mean, I didn't know the terminology. I've heard the terminology before, but Luann, at least gave us the opportunity to have a learning moment. Okay. And there's not a lot of people that like would offer that up, you know. I've been looking in my relationships and where are the learning moments? And it's like people don't want to learn. They don't want to know. They don't want to like add to their knowledge.
yeah,
And I'm blessed to have people in my life that actually be like, yeah, I don't get that. What's up with that?
Right.
You know, I mean, I feel blessed that I can, go to Luann and say, Luann, I'm having trouble with this, and this, and she'll actually give me some advice, that I know is going to be coming from a standpoint of like, well, it's just not coming from a book, it's coming from experience. I'm blessed that I can come to you, Deborah, and say, hey, listen, my business is doing this. What do you think about this? And you have experience that you can educate me. I don't know if my mindset is just different from people, but I want to be educated. I want to know the things that I don't know. And I'll be the first person to admit I have no clue.
Well, I love
and
that you said that. I do. I love that you said that. And here's what I get from everybody. I get this from everybody. When I'm in a situation, I don't know if I am on like the low end of the autism spectrum or something, because I am good at reading people and stepping into their shoes. But when it comes to me and my personal interactions, sometimes I'm clueless. And I will go to people. I go to Matthew, I go to Luann, I go to my husband, I go to a lot of people and go, okay, I said this, they said this, they immediately got this look on their face. I could feel the energy. I can read energy better than anyone. So I know that they were hating on me. What did I do to piss them off?
Right.
You know, and I have to get input. I really do, even at this age. So when people say that I'm controlling, I'm like, I have no control over my environment. You have no clue. I'm always clueless about interactions on a level like that. So,
well, I'm there too, because people will have reactions to me, and I think, did I say something wrong?
you're just
And
loud.
some
You're a little bitty woman in this loud voice, and people are like, what the hell is this?
I do have a loud voice, but where I project my voice because of what the learning environment in the lab is very loud. And if I didn't project my voice in the lab, no one would hear me.
Mhm.
They would be
Makes
in their own little world, and I need their attention. And I'm not standing over the class. Hey, I have gotten on a step stool before and said, me up here.
I used to teach sexual harassment classes, not how to do it, but what you're not supposed to do for my corporate clients.
Mhm.
And my teaching mode of operation though is that I would sexually harass two or three of the students all during the class, and they go, "This is what you don't do." I mean, I would go and sit in their laps, I would play with their hair, I would say really, really off the wall things, all kinds of stuff during the class. And of course, they all laughed. They loved it because these classes are all men. But I'm like, you can't say this to people. You cannot say, I get away with it and I'm getting paid to do it, but you will not get paid if you do this.
You will get
I,
fired.
well,
You will get
I almost got
sued.
fired for sexual harassment. I did. Okay. But here's the thing. Okay. There was a gentleman that, okay, I'm sorry. Would you mind a story about that? About
Mm,
sexual harassment?
I
I
want to
worked
hear
for a
it.
company that everybody knew I was gay. I mean, it was not, it was not a
Not a
secret.
secret.
Okay. But there was one gentleman that really had a problem with me,
Ooh.
really had a problem with me. And he was always constantly berating me, and saying it wasn't God's will. And, so he would come up to me and he would literally have a 15 to 20-minute conversation just telling me why I was wrong.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And I finally got fed up with it. And one of my coworkers was like, why do you put up with that? And I was like, you know what? I shouldn't anymore.
Mm-mm.
I shouldn't. And he's like, yeah, he says, but what can you do? And I was like, I
Oh,
know exactly what I can do. So he comes up and he's standing like right beside my desk. Okay, well, standing right beside my desk. And he starts in on it. And so I turn around and, well, I face and look directly at his crotch. And that's where I kept my eyes. And he's like, excuse me, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. I'm just admiring the view. And he's like, what? What? He goes, what do you mean? And I was like, well, you're standing right next to me. And I was like, it's within eye contact, so why not? And he's like, well, you should be looking at me when I'm talking to you. I was like, if I don't respect you for what you're saying, then I might as well be looking at your dick. And I'm like, it looks pretty good from here. I was like, what is that? Like what, 6, 7 inches? I was like, or maybe
oh,
more.
you didn't.
Oh, I did. I did. And I laid it right out on the line and was like saying, damn, that looks really nice. And he's like, I'm done with this conversation. And he walks away and I was like, wow. And that ass. That was the last time that man ever came over and talked to me, berated me, or cut me down.
I love
But
it.
of course, I got called into HR, and HR is like, you can't do that. And I was like,
But he
if
could
he
preach to
continues to come
you.
over and berate me and to cut me down for being gay, I was like, that's what he's
Oh,
going to
no.
get.
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
So,
my.
they didn't think there's anything wrong with what he did.
oh no, no, no. They after they like, well, how long has this been going on? And I told them, and they went around and asked people, how long has it been going on? And so he got into the office and got reprimanded just as much as I did. So, but yeah, that was the last time that ever happened to me.
I was teaching a class for a client that I had a contract with, and which actually gave me a real position with them. I was not just a contract laborer, I was a contract employee. And part of my job was teaching classes. And I had just had knee replacement surgery and I was high on dope. I had just gotten out of the hospital. And this woman said something hugely inappropriate to another woman who was crying about a child of hers that had committed suicide. And I lost my shit and said something that was really gross. And it's not even something I would normally say, but I was high. I mean, I was high on pain pills. I should not have been teaching that class because I couldn't even walk. I was in a wheelchair because I just gotten out of the hospital with this replacement. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because it was ironic because I had to go take sexual harassment classes to keep my contract, and I taught sexual
All right.
harassment classes. So that always struck me as very funny and very ironic. And so the reason I'm telling you the story is that one of the things I won't know more of this year is politics. Because of the
Mm.
politics, I had to take that class. Because of that politics, I had refused to certify her as completing the class successfully, and she threatened to sue these people. I had to certify her as completing successfully, even though she had not exhibited any compassion or empathy, which is what these classes were about. And I'm just kind of fed up with people pretending everything's okay when it's not.
Yep.
So no more politics for me. Personal politics, corporate politics, business politics, that type of, no more politics. That's my no more.
It's tough to get away from it, but I mean, definitely, I don't want any more.
I
Well,
wish I could have seen the look on his face when he did that, though. That's priceless.
Everybody said that he turned 3 shades of white. Yeah. So,
Well, maybe it was because all the blood was rushing to another area of his body. Oh, did
well,
I
if that was the case, I didn't see it.
say?
um,
And you were looking.
the thing about it is, you almost want to say, I think you complain too much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Usually those people who are doing the complaining are thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something to the fact that here you think that this, so maybe you have that tendency and you know it's wrong. And so you're trying to preach to yourself while you're preaching to me.
Mm,
What's the deal?
yeah.
It's very interesting to me how people filter and rationalize things and misconstrue things. And I have decided that 95% of the population lives in a box that is a 4 by 4 inch cube. And then there's the other 5%, and some of us live in a box that's 10 inches, some of us live in 12 inches. And then you have the people like me that don't have a box, and probably you and Luann, Matthew fit into that category as well. Y'all don't have a box either, you know. And sometimes that means that we run around loose and unguarded and unchained, and it freaks the fuck out of people. So,
Yes, it does.
you know what I mean, Eugene?
Mhm.
Yes.
One of the reasons
it
why
is.
I'm not dating right now. I mean, I'll meet people and it's just like, yeah, I don't get you. I don't understand you. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then we're not a match at all.
Well, that's one thing Scott and I came to a conclusion in our marriage. We don't have to get everything about each other. What we have to do if we want to be happily married is say, is that important to you? And if they say yes, as long as it's not violating my health or my sanity, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be your cheerleader,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
And I don't have to get it because I don't understand half the crap my husband does. I'll be honest. I don't, and it took him a long time to understand. I don't judge him for it. I just don't understand it.
I get it.
So I might say something that seems cold or callous or uncaring or like I'm making fun of him, and I'm not. I just am trying to wrap my head around it to find how I can relate to it or be more understanding or whatever. And I just finally gave up on all that. I'm just like, you want to do it? I got my 2 hours tonight. Go do it, baby. Yay. Have at it. Whatever. Don't have to understand.
No, I think it's a wonderful way of looking at your relationship. I really do. So,
Well, it works for us. That's all I can say. It works for us. We're happy. Um, I did have a spiritual whatever. I don't even know what to call it. Back in November, and it has really shifted my whole idea about relationships. Not that's not true. That's a lie. Strike that, cancel. It has broadened my ability to walk the walk of what I
hmm.
have always said I believed in. Okay. And
And
it
so
has
what was that?
that I just love you the way you are. And as long as you're not being mean to me or trying to make me feel bad about myself or asking me to break the law or asking me to disrespect my God, I'm just going to love you.
But isn't that
And
what we're told
yeah, but
all
who
of our
does it?
lives?
Who the fuck do you know that does it? Who do you know that does it? Who do you know
Yeah.
that
Not
does it?
many.
Give me a list.
Not
Give me a
many.
list. So that's what my more is. That's my more list. To love people, really, really love them. Really, really love them.
I know my father taught me it doesn't matter if someone's male, female, black, white, brown, how do they treat you? That's how how do you want to be treated?
Yeah, but see, I'm going past that, Luann. I can put up with some of the treatments that they have without it affecting me, as long as it doesn't violate my morals, my ethics, my spiritual world, or puts me in physical danger.
Well,
So, because there's a
I
lot
guess
of things
I
that people
always
do that just piss me off. They just piss me off. You know what? I am quick to anger. I am quick to go, that is so fucking stupid. How can you be so damn stupid? And I can think that and still be a loving person. I just allow myself to think that, go, but I need to back up and say, what does God think about this person? There's a value in this person that God sees. I need to look for that. Okay, they're still fucking stupid, but I'm gonna love them, you know? So I'm allowed to have my, passionate emotions, but I'm not allowed to act on them and I'm not allowed to judge them.
Well, I think that you're allowed to act on them. Okay. Like I kind of phrase it as this is I'll meet you where you're at. Okay. I mean,
That's good.
but if you're not willing to meet me, then that's when I say, no, I'm sorry. You
Well,
know?
what I would say act on, I mean, I'm not allowed to go, you're so fucking stupid. Because that's
Well,
my first reaction.
there's a meme out there that says a man was talking to a guru and says how do you deal with these people that are so difficult, and so stupid, you know that they like just completely and piss you off, and he goes, I just agree with them.
Yeah.
And the guy says, well, that's not right, why would you do that, that just doesn't seem to be logical, and the guru says, I agree.
I like that. See, and I think it's all those things are pieces of building blocks. And I can think that they're stupid, but I don't have to be mean to them. And then I can also figure out a way to be nice to them. And then I can take it up a step and figure out how to love them without having pity for them. Because a lot of times we're nice to people because we pity them, and nobody wants to be pitied. And I think that's where a lot of these kind gestures and actions get twisted around. Well, I was nice to them and they turned around and they stabbed me in the back. No, you were doing something else, you know. And you may have had some good intentions, but there were some other things going on there too.
You know
And you
what we
need to
call that in Texas?
bullshit.
Bless your heart.
Bless
Yeah,
your heart. Bless your heart.
yeah, yeah. I had someone say that on my Facebook page the other day, and I said, "Are you saying that in a sarcastic way, or are you saying that in a religious way? Because either one of these is inappropriate." But I'd like to know which one you're doing, so I can address it.
Mm.
And I have a lot more respect for a person that just comes out and says, fuck you, instead of saying,
Mhm.
bless your heart. So be more honest. I want more honesty, more honesty. Meet me there with honesty, that not you're witty. Everyone wants to be witty. Everybody wants to be so funny. They want to, these trolls on Facebook crack me up.
Well, I need
Well,
to learn to say, and what do you mean by that?
Yeah, that's a good one. I,
that is
I
a good
always
one.
I always go to ignorance. I don't know what you're talking about. That just drives people nuts. And a lot of times I really don't know what they're talking about. I'm not trying to be, you know, a troll or whatever. I'm like, I don't get it. What do you mean? Like today, I had to call Scott, go, you just put up a new Facebook profile. What does that mean? What does that symbol mean? I have no
So,
idea.
I don't know
And
what that
it's
is.
it's some group emblem. I don't know. I still don't know what it means, but you know, it's some
But
obscure thing. He likes it. Okay.
well, I think it's one of the things that I want more of in 2024. I mean, is the ability to like express what's like right there in that moment. I have a
Ah.
tendency to like get stuck on, should I say that? Or maybe I should think about this before I do this. Okay. When I know that, I mean, it would probably be best for me to go, yeah, I don't understand that, and I don't get where you're coming from. And so therefore I can't make a knowledgeable decision on any of this until you let me in on the secret here.
That's exactly
So,
what I'm talking about.
I mean,
Exactly.
I need to be more expressive in 2024 to stop, and not have to like have those thoughts of like, well, okay, I'll be embarrassed if I come across as like, I don't know. So I just want to be more expressive in the moment. I mean, to me, that's going to be very important.
Yeah, because there's been times when things have happened and I've been confused. And what I should have said was, what just happened? I don't understand what just happened.
I don't get embarrassed. Is that a personality issue that when you don't get embarrassed? I get frustrated when I feel like I'm not understood,
Yeah.
but I don't get embarrassed because if I make a mistake, I don't really have a problem saying, "Oh yeah, you're right. I fucked up. I'm sorry." But what really gets me and causes me great distress is when I own a mistake or when I you know, even if I wasn't trying to be mean or trying to hurt someone's feelings or whatever, and they say that it did, and I own it, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, I don't know what to do to make this better, and they don't accept your apology, they don't let you make it better. I'm like, well, then why did you even tell me that you were hurt? If you
Yeah.
didn't want this to be repaired, if you didn't want to meet me somewhere to where we could have a meeting of minds, why the fuck even tell me that you're mad? What was the point of that? You just want to punish me? That makes me angry now. You don't get to punish me, you
Yeah,
know?
because you have someone who's obviously upset with you, and you apologize. I'm sorry, that it was not my intent. And they just continue to say, well, it doesn't matter. I have to protect myself. So this is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Mm.
So I I want more intimate, understanding, compassionate relationships, and I want less superficial. No more superficial relationships.
Well, that's what upset me about the whole thing. I'd been friends for 10 years, and there was no explanation about, I mean, I didn't real that's when I had the what just happened?
Yeah.
What just happened? What
Yeah,
happened?
so here's the question that always comes to my mind. I thought we were friends for 10 years, and you don't treat friends like this. So was I a fucking idiot for thinking we were friends for 10 years?
Yeah.
That's the thing that drives me just nutty, you know.
Well,
Well, you all have commented on me and some of the relationships I have. They're like, Matthew, are you not seeing what's going on here? Because I always want to try to, like take and envision everything that I can get around this. I can tolerate this, And it's like, Matthew, why are you doing that? No.
It's because you're
We
a
need to
very
say what's
loving,
for
giving person. Um, y- the capacity that you have for understanding people, I'm going to cry, for understanding people, for seeing their true motives and being able to still have compassion for them and wanting to help make their lives better is overwhelming at times, how deep it runs.
and those of us, these two people right here, those of us who know you do not want others taking advantage of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
really
when
don't.
we butt in.
And I used to shoot at people, so I can see myself doing that again as I get older.
Don't make me take my gun up. Because if I
Yeah,
take the gun out, I
I
will
literally
be.
lock my gun up because I'm like, you know what? This is just too easy for me to go here. So we'll just take that out of the equation. But I will punch you in the face still.
Yes,
There-
because if the gun comes out, I'm using it.
I am. I am, by God. Okay. So much for this love fest. So let's sum it up. What do you want more of, Luann? Just give us some words. What do you want more of this year?
I want to be more expressive. I want to be more communicative. Is that the word? And communicative. Uh, I want. I guess I want to be more. I want people to understand that I don't know what just happened. Because a lot of times you know, I don't say that. I'm just shocked. So I want to communicate better.
Okay, good. What about you, Dr. Pierce?
I think if I had to think about it, what I want more of is more authentic relationships where I have the ability to be expressive and I have the ability to be vulnerable. What I want less of is allowing people to kind of walk all over me and, take advantage of me, just because of my nature.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries, maybe.
Yeah, boundaries definitely, without a doubt, that's a part of it. But like I said, I have to be more authentic about it and stick with the boundaries that I set instead of going, oh, well, I guess I can take and bend that a little bit. So, but inside of those authentic relationships, I want to have those boundaries be respected.
Mm.
Right.
So I'm like a little kid. I just want more people around me that like me. You know, more people that like me and let me just be me without judging me. And Scott Rose, I love you. If you're watching this, I want more neck snurkles. So,
Aww.
so
Aww.
anyway, so much for this today. We're talking again. Watch out. And Dr. Pierce, tell them where you are, Luann. You're just floating around in internet space right now. So you can email me if you need to get a hold of her. Dr. Pierce, where can they get a hold of you?
You can get a hold of me at matthewapierce.com, or Matthew A. Pierce. Matthew at Matthew A. Pierce. You can also contact me at metaphysicalevents.com. And my email address there is matthew@metaphysicalevents.com.
Luann, don't you have an email working somewhere?
I do. I have herbal Lu LU 1105 at gmail.com.
Okay, so there's an email. I'm Deborah Colleen Rose at gmail.com. This is Miles of Smiles Events. And if you like us, leave some comments and contact us if you have any entertainment needs at parties or celebrations or events, because that's what we do at Miles of Smiles. Until we see you again, Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye.